Hello and welcome to Tay Shay. Today I'm going to be showing you how easy it is to make these cutie little flowers that are single color and have 5 adorable petals. And you can put these on anything you want, which is so fun. Like, look at how cute they are. You can actually put these on your shirt buttons after you've buttoned them up if you want to add some flair. I have them on a pin board with a little pin in between. You can add them as little appliques on bags that you make. There are so many options for a cute little flower. What you're going to be needing to make one of these flowers is any kind of yarn that you like. I'm going to be using this Bernat Softy Baby in this beautiful pink that they call soft red, but I think it's more of a beautiful like watermelon hot pink. I love it. We have a tapestry needle for weaving in our ends, some scissors for cutting our yarn, and the recommended hook size for our yarn. So you can see here it says 4 millimeters. So that's what we're going with. But before we jump into the tutorial, if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I am absolutely having so much fun making these how-to videos. I love it, and I'm having just the best time, and I really hope that you'll join me on the journey. So let's jump into how we're going to get this beautiful little flower. It's not starting off strong, folks. Every time I end up trying to get a center pole and I end up with barf. I'm just not good at it, but you know what? We're going to get better someday. So what we're going to do is we're going to discover where the end of our yarn is. And you have 2 options to start off. You can either do a magic ring, or we can chain instead. So if you are someone who hasn't mastered the magic ring, you're a little bit scared of it and you're not quite there yet, you can do the chain method, or we can do a magic ring. So I'll show you what you would do if you want to do the chain method, but we will be doing the rest of the tutorial with the magic ring. So you're going to start with a slip knot, and you're going to need to chain 4. If you don't know how to do a slip knot or a chain, I suggest that you go to the very first video ever posted on this channel and you check that out. It is going to teach you exactly how to slip knot and chain, which is the very foundation of crochet. So we're going to chain 4, and then we're going to insert our hook into that very first chain. So then you have 2 loops on your hook there, and then grab onto your working yarn and pull it through both of the loops on your hook. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a circle that you can work into. So I'll show you right here in between all of those stitches. It gives you the same circle that you could get with a magic circle. It's just a little different, and it doesn't allow you to put as many stitches inside of it as a magic circle, because a magic circle can be whatever size you want. If you wanted to add more things into this and it was too tight, you can just chain 5 or 6 or however many you need to get the size of circle you need. But you can see there that there is a circle you can work into that you just create with a chain instead. Everything else you would do exactly the same, but if I say put your stitch into the magic circle, what we're going to be doing is just putting it into that chain circle instead. So for the magic circle, if you haven't mastered the magic circle yet and you want to go a little more in depth with that, I have a whole video on the channel that goes into detail of exactly why you use it, all of that, and how to do it in more slow motion. But I'm going to show you really quick here. So we're going to take the end of the yarn and hold it over our palm like this. You want to have it dangle a little bit so that you can have a yarn tail. We'll take the working end and wrap it around both our index and our middle finger. You want to cross it with that yarn to create an X. So you see that X shape there, and then turn your hand and grab onto that end here with your pinky so that it's nice and tight. Take your hook, go in between your 2 fingers underneath that first piece of yarn, and then grab onto the second one and pull it out. Then you turn your hook with that yarn still on it so that you can see the yarn wraps fully around your hook. And then we're just going to chain 1 with the working yarn that's being held by our pinky. And then we can remove our fingers and we have our magic ring. And there she is. She's so beautiful. And we're going to be going over 2 different flowers here. So this one here is a 1 round flower, and this one is pretty much the same concept, but this one is 2 rounds. So you can see here that there's a single crochet round before we get to the petals, but this one is just straight into the petals and doesn't have any other round in the middle. So we'll start with the one that doesn't have the extra round of stitches. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing 3 double crochet stitches and then a slip stitch into that magic ring to make this flower. It is actually so easy to do. So we're going to start with a stacked single crochet. And the reason for this is if you put a double crochet straight into your magic ring, it's going to end up a little bit curved, and a lot of people will do a chain 3 instead, but I find that that just ends up looking a little bit messy, and I want to level up your work even when you're a beginner. So for this, what we're going to do is do a single crochet stitch into that magic ring. So you're going to insert your hook into the ring, pull up a loop so that you have 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. And you can see there that you get this upside down V shape, which are the 2 legs of the stitch. We're going to insert our hook underneath the left leg of that stitch to get 2 loops on our hook again, yarn over and pull through that first one to have 2 loops on the hook, and then you'll see down here we have 2 little diagonal pieces. Then we're just going to yarn over and pull through 2 to finish that stacked single crochet. And the reason for that is that the chain 3 just looks messy to me, and I prefer the stacked. I find that it kind of blends in better with double crochet stitches in general. So here we have our first double crochet. So then we're going to do 2 more double crochet to make that first heart cluster. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into that magic ring or your little chain circle if that's what you're working with, grab onto the yarn to pull up a loop so that you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. If you haven't mastered the double crochet stitch yet, I have a whole video. I believe it's like the 3rd video on the channel, maybe 4th, I don't know. But you can go and check that out and work on your double crochet before coming back to try to make something like a heart. Maybe just do a couple rows of double crochet and then come back here and you can make a cute little flower. So then we're going to do a 3rd double crochet. So yarn over, insert into the magic ring and pull up a loop for 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we need to do our slip stitch. So for a slip stitch into a magic ring, you're just going to insert your hook into that magic ring, grab onto that yarn, so you have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull the 1 loop through the other one to get to 1 loop on your hook. And what that's going to do is give you that rounded shape for your flower. And from here, we can just do 3 double crochet again. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. There's our first one, and then do a 2nd double crochet and a 3rd. Okay. And then we have our 2nd set of petals, and then we'll just do that same slip knot. So insert your hook into the magic ring, grab onto the yarn, and pull it through the loop on your hook. You can already see the flower shape is starting to form. We've got 2 individual petals there. And we're just going to repeat that process until we get to 5 petals. So we just do another double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook into that magic ring and pull up a loop. 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. And we'll do that 2 more times for the 2nd double crochet and the 3rd. Okay, so there we have our 3rd set, and then we're just going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, and then pull through the loop on your hook so that you have 3. And you can see this creates the cutest little bumpy look that's going to turn into these adorable little petals. So we'll just do that 2 more times. So we will do 1 double crochet. Ooh. The yarn is working against me. 2 double crochet and 3. And then we can just insert another slip stitch into that magic ring. So now we have 4 petals and we've got that slip stitch. So then we will yarn over and do another set of 3 double crochet. You can see the yarn barf is slowly encroaching on my personal space. I feel like I'm being attacked. And there is our last petal, and then we will just do that final slip stitch, and then you should have something that looks like this. So you've got 5 petals, all that have that little shape because of the slip stitch in between, and we'll grab onto the end of our magic ring and pull. And when you pull, it's going to make the circle smaller on the inside, and you're going to be left with this, and we're going to need to slip stitch into part of this first stitch that we did. And what we want to do is slip stitch either to down here or the back of the stitch. And the reason for that, we don't want to slip stitch to the top because it's going to drag our slip stitch from this part here all the way up, and it's not going to look very good. So what I like to do is kind of bring it towards the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the back of this stitch. Go into the back of the stitch, and then I will grab on to our working yarn and pull it through, and then we can pull our little guy tighter, and we have a little cute flower. And this one is going to be a little smaller because this was made with a worsted weight yarn and this is a DK weight yarn. And now what we can do is we can cut our yarn and then pull the yarn out with our hook, and you can see the shape of our adorable flower. We'll also fix where these yarns are currently sitting when we weave in our ends. And you can see just a cutie little flower that you can add to literally anything. And to weave in your ends, what you're going to want to do is take this first end, which was the one that we made the magic ring or your chain circle with, and just go ahead and go underneath every stitch all the way around. It is the easiest way, and it will also help to reinforce your magic ring. So we can go through the first set of double crochets, and once you go under that first set, you can also pull it a little bit tighter because it's being kind of held in, which is super nice. And since this isn't going to be a wearable, I'm probably just going to end up turning it into a magnet and putting it on my fridge. I don't really need to worry too much about weaving in my ends, so I'll probably only weave it through 2 petals instead of all of them. And then I would just snip that yarn, add that to my scrap bin, and then we have this one here. And this is the one that we kind of slip stitched to the back, so we're going to want to bring that to the back when we do our ends as well. So we're going to take it, and you can see here, we're going to want to pull it this way just a little bit so that it gets that separation for those two. And then we'll also just go in underneath some of the petals, pulling that yarn through. And like I said, I'm probably just going to turn this into a magnet, so I'm not too worried about weaving in my ends. And we can just give that a snip as well. And then we have this cutie little flower. And she is so cute, she is so small, so dainty. And we're gonna also be making this one here. So this one is going to give us an extra round, which gives us a little bit more flower to enjoy. So you can see these two, same flower, made with different yarns, very different sizes. But now we'll make this one. It's going to have the exact same beginning, either a magic ring or your chain 4 loop. And what we're going to do is we are going to place 10 single crochet stitches into it first. So do your magic ring or your chain 4 and slip stitch back into that first chain. And then we are going to single crochet 10 stitches into our magic ring. So we can hold onto our magic ring, insert our hook, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. And we'll just do that 10 times. And like I said about the double crochet, I have a video all about single crochet as well. So if you haven't mastered that yet, you can definitely go check out that video as well. So we have 4 single crochet here. Okay, number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So then we have this shape here, just like a little archway. And we'll grab onto the end of our yarn like we did at the end of the other flower and pull tight. And we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. So you can see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is stitch number 10 here, which is kind of turned down a little bit. So you can pull it up, and then it might be kind of difficult sometimes to get your hook in there. It's honestly one of those things, it just happens. And then we'll slip stitch through that stitch. So then we have this little chain 10 in a magic circle, which is the beginning of this flower. And we can see here we're working with the exact same concept where you have 3 double crochet and then a slip stitch. So we're going to be doing the exact same thing, but instead of working into that magic circle, we're going to be working into this 10 stitches around. So we'll start in that first stitch, and since we're making petals, we don't really need to worry about the stacked single crochet because the petals are going to turn and we kind of want them to do that. So we're going to place 3 double crochet stitches into this first stitch. So we will yarn over, insert our hook, and then pull up a loop to get 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we'll do that 3 times into this same stitch. So insert your hook into that same stitch after you yarn over, pull up for 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we have 2 there. Then we will yarn over, insert our hook, and do it one more time, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we have 3. So what we're going to do is do the slip stitch into that next stitch. So insert your hook, grab onto your yarn and pull it through, so you'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull that yarn through the first one so that you have your first little petal. And we're just going to repeat that process where we do 3 double crochets and then a slip stitch over and over again till we get all 5 of our beautiful little petals. So we'll yarn over, insert into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we'll do 2 more of those for our second double crochet and the third. Okay, so then we have this. Then we'll go into that next stitch and we will do a slip stitch. Whoop. Even when you've been crocheting for years, you're still going to have your yarn decide sometimes it wants to fly off. And so then we'll pull through for our slip stitch, and then we'll just repeat that process again with 3 more double crochet in the next stitch. You'll learn as you get more comfortable with crochet that things that happen to you as a beginner honestly still happen sometimes later. I find I can't count. My yarn doesn't want to do what I want it to do. Sometimes the muscle memory is just not there and my brain is like, how do I even do this when I've been doing it for years at this point? It's very fun. You can see here we now have 3 of our little stitches, and then we have this many stitches left here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll be working 2 double crochet, slip stitch, 2 double crochet, and then we'll slip stitch into that last one there to get all 10 of our stitches. All right, so let's do, doing half double crochets when I should be doing doubles. Honestly, it's one of those days. So we'll double crochet by pulling through 2, pull through 2, not all 3, okay. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and do the final double crochet of that petal. Then slip stitch into the next one. Okay, so we've got 4 petals going now, and then we can do our final cluster to make that 5th petal, which we'll just do another 3 double crochet. 1, 2, the yarn barf is just chasing me today, and 3. And what we're going to do is insert our hook into that last space, which is the slip stitch from the previous round, and then slip stitch to finish. And there you have a cutie little flower. And then we can cut our yarn and weave in our ends. So you can remove your hook, and then we'll weave in our ends the same way we would for the last one. So you're going to grab onto your needle, thread it, and we'll want to work as much as we can. It might be a little bit more difficult because these are single crochets, but try to work around that magic circle just to make sure that it's not going to come undone super easy. Magic circles are known to come undone from time to time, but like I said, I'll probably just put these on my fridge as magnets because I love a good crochet fridge magnet. And we'll weave in this end as well. And chances are with things like flowers, you're probably not going to see the back of it very often. You'll be using it as like an applique, putting it on your fridge as like a little magnet, you know, putting it on a bag, who knows? So it doesn't really matter what the back looks like. It's kind of the same strategies like when you do your own hair. No, you don't see the back of your head, it's not your problem. Sometimes you can just messy weave your ends in if you feel like it. But we'll just go underneath with the second one, underneath some of these stitches, just so that we can get the end weaved in. And that shouldn't, in theory, come out of something that you're not going to be using as like a blanket or a piece of clothing. And then we can snip our end, and then we have our 2 round little flower. And you can see the difference here is this one is definitely more defined and a little bit cuter just because it does have that beginning round to it. So this is the one with just one round and this is the one with two. But that is exactly how you can make a cutie little crochet flower with barely any time. They honestly take no time at all, especially once you master those stitches. You'll absolutely love making something like this. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'm so happy to have you here, and I have the best time sharing my favorite craft with all of you, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. See you next time.